In the second book of Chronicles, the first reading of the scriptures for this fourth Sunday of Lent, we hear that God had compassion on people. Even when they mocked God's messengers, even when they destroyed God's house. And in the Gospel of John for today, we try to absorb similar meanings. God so loved the world that he sent his only Son, not to condemn it, not to condemn the world, but to save. What makes this hard to believe? Really? God will forgive me and us for what we have done or not done? What about this is hard to believe? Well, first of all, we tend to react more harshly. You treat me poorly, then you'll pay. That's the way we tend to react. We're often less forgiving, less compassionate than God is described in these Bible readings. Clearly, Jesus saw issues in this world, structures, ways of treating people, attitudes and behaviors. But the question is how to respond to those. With violence or with love, with compassion? We find it easier to dismiss or condemn or demonize others who have attitudes and behaviors antithetical to Jesus. And how about the way we treat ourselves? For example, judging, condemning for not living up to who we're called to be and what we're called to do. That is not the message of the Bible this week. On the other hand, what fosters our faith? Our faith that God's forgiving love and compassion are bigger than our smallness. Well, first of all, really hearing and absorbing the meanings in the Bible this week. Seeing and sensing how Jesus' saving way is better than my own or others' judging, condemning, and demonizing. It's a better way to live. Another thing that fosters our faith in God's ways is when I experience the compassion of good people of God, the goodness of the human spirit, as I see it embodied in people who will even risk their own lives. Like right now, doctors, nurses, teachers, parents, they'll risk their own lives to save those who have even made light of wearing masks and physical distancing and partied their brains out. They'll still care about them and try to save them. Another way to foster faith in God's compassion is practicing God's ways of seeing and sensing. Practice seeing yourself with God's eyes. Try it. You'll like it. And it will stretch you in your faith. The psalmist tells us, "Be still and know that I am God." If we can quit running from activity to activity, one website to another, and sit still, like right now, it's amazing what we hear and what we see and what we sense. How Jesus' ways are saving.